Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we're documenting renovations to our historic 1910 home in North Carolina. Today we're going to be tackling some carpet by popular demand, both from you guys and also from ourselves. So we're going to start with the home office as I spend a lot of time in here. The carpet's held up pretty well considering it's probably from maybe like the 1960s. Um, it just has kind of a musty smell. It's probably been damp a few times, and I think pets and people and just it's old and has some stains. I'm not sure what those like four dots are by the radiator cover. Kind of like maybe a space heater had been there. So it's just time for a change in here, and we were really just dying to see what the floors look like underneath. The floors in the rest of the house are so nice. We have our fingers crossed for sure as we pull this up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for.
Perfect. Okay, a little bit of something there. Okay. All right. So that reveal for us was amazing in general, except for right around the radiator. It was looking good. There's also like tack strips, but the carpet padding underneath wasn't glued down. So really, like, not a ton of cleanup as far as this corner was looking. So that was kind of cool. We were hoping to keep this process easy. We'll see. You never know. So we really got to work pulling up the carpet here. Scott did a bulk of the labor. You can see right there under the radiator was just super gross on the left side. It was kind of moldy and musty. It wasn't wet now, and we have had a little bit of rain lately. So I kind of think it might have to do with the radiator itself, which hasn't been operational for a little while now. So hopefully nothing too crazy coming through the wall or the window. Here you can see there's a little bit of rot. I can tell around at least one, if not two, of the other radiators they've actually had to replace before we got here. Um, some of the floorboards, probably for the same reason. And those were interior walls. The radiators were on interior walls, so nothing to do with windows or leaking. So hopefully that's all that we have going on here. At this point, we're so excited about the progress being made. We were already talking about pulling the carpet up in all the other rooms. So right now there's carpet in this room and there's a bedroom adjacent to this office. And then upstairs, the entire house is carpeted upstairs except for the second kitchen and the bathrooms. So a decent amount of carpet to get rid of for sure. And it's all sort of similarly aged, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see what the floors look like up there. They're a little squeakier, I'd say, than the ones down here. So maybe some surprises up there. Between this and the wallpaper removal, I have to say I've really been enjoying demo day. I don't have any heartburn about pulling out old gross things, so it's been really fun to see the big reveals and stuff, and kind of get to live in it and see what the house looks like as it was made. This tack strip was a little complicated to get off. Honestly, we scratched the floors a little bit, which is a bummer, but we'll do some work to fix that. You can see it was held on really well with lots of nails. Scott had gotten this tool. I think it's called a trim puller. It's kind of like a crowbar on handle. It has a little notch in the end of it so that it can pop nails out of the ground, which is awesome. You have to slip the black part underneath the tack strip so that it doesn't pop the nail heads off. These nails were so old, the heads were popping off if we just took like a hammer to them to try to pop them out. So you definitely had to have the tack strip there to protect that from coming off. Otherwise, the nails are going to be in there forever. This part was a little delicate. The tack strip had like a kind of a flashing that was butted up next to the trim around the fireplace, the hearth. So we were trying not to pop the hearth up with the tack strip. Had to nail that back down a little bit, but it didn't crack or anything. It's in pretty good shape still. So the alternate title for this particular video is Scott teaches Emily how to use tools. This tool was not an easy get for me. So I tried it a few times, but I kept splitting the tack strip, which was like doing more annoying harm than good. So Scott took back over. So let me tell you, what I lack in trim pulling, I make up for in cleaning. So I did pull my weight, I promise. So you can see the tack strip comes up pretty easily until we get to these like crazy corner pieces where they were broken up into like little maybe 1.5, 2 inch pieces, and they each had two big nails in them, and the nails heads kept popping off. So we had switched to this little other tool called, I think it's called a Wonder Bar. And we use this thing for literally everything. Every house should have one of these. I do not work for Wonder Bar. I don't even know if that's like the brand name or just what we call it. Um, but this tool does a lot of things. So, anyway, similar to the trim puller on the handle, this one has like a little notch in it so you can easily pop out, like slip it under the wood pieces and pop out the nails. And this tool I actually had never really used before either, but this one I actually did understand. So I did use this one and I pulled off a lot of the little pieces. Scott and I took turns here. So those came off a lot easier with the hammer, using the hammer on the water bar to get a little more leverage and to slip it under there easier. This process was kind of a mess, but didn't go as badly as I thought when I saw those little pieces we were going to have to attack. So we have a lot of holes we're going to have to fill from all the nails. This was a very like super professional carpet job, so that stuff was meant to last forever, and it did. So we're gonna have just a little bit of like filler to put in these holes and a few scratches to clean up, but in general, not looking too bad. There's also a lot of staples. All these kind of white dots, like tan things, are like parts of the carpet padding stuck to staples. So I'll be pulling staples out for probably the whole week. But tried to pull a bunch out today, and they were coming out really easily. I mean, they weren't pretty standard staples, nothing too crazy here. If you can see these sort of, there's like three really bright white dots next to the hearth. I'm not sure what that is, but they are, the white is around these nail holes. And Scott's theory is that maybe it stays a little damp there. And those are like calcification from, the reaction between the metal nails and the water or dampness that might be over there, but it seems to clean up pretty easily, so I'm not too concerned about it. Just pulling lots of staples out here. We were both working at both ends of the room here. Scott was still pulling the last of the trim up with the window bar.
Made me think there's a little more rot inside the walls, but I don't know if we'll be getting to that anytime soon. Just the moisture. I think it's just from non-insulated walls, though, more than anything.
The one,
Going from warm to cold to warm to cold, and just that moisture building up.
the front window, if the storms hit it hard enough, it will leak a little bit in the leaded glass. So that's probably some of that white stuff on the floor up there. But generally speaking,
House is in great shape.
yeah. This is the white stuff I was referencing in that last clip. I now realize that this actually just dust from when we sanded the walls and painted them. So it had gotten trapped between like the edge of the carpet and the wall. And when we pulled up the carpet, it had dusted this whole side. We had sanded that whole side really like a whole bunch. So there was a lot of dust. And I think that's all that was. So the last part here is pulling up this strangely well affixed carpet underneath the radiator. Interestingly, it seems like they pulled the radiator up and then put it on top of the carpet when they installed it, which I was not expecting. And this is just the backside of like that one spot that has a little bit of rot. So I was sort of interested to see what else was lurking underneath and behind this radiator carpet. It was super well attached. It had its own tack strip kind of all the way around the radiator, which was kind of surprising. There were many layers of staples underneath. So this one took maybe the longest out of all the projects to get undone. I think you can probably see here that front left foot of the radiator is sitting on top of the carpet. It's also sitting on top of a little piece of tack strip, I guess, to level it. So that was the most thorough carpet job I've ever seen in my life. They really don't build them like they used to, guys. This is probably 70, maybe 60 or 70-year-old carpet, and it was meant to last forever. But you can see it's been wet and molded. It's pretty gross there. But I had to do a bunch of cutting, and I finally got all the staples removed. And this was a pretty gratifying moment. So the big note of the radiator situation is really just that left side was had the rotten spots and had clearly had water damage. But um, after about maybe 2 feet, maybe 3 feet from the left side, all the floors seemed really good. There wasn't anything concerning going on here. It had probably been damp at some point, but there wasn't any like major rotten spots after that first section. So that was awesome. So I just spent some time pulling up this tack strip. Not as many staples over here, which was good. Little cleanup. There really wasn't much to clean up, just kind of some dust and little bits of the tack strip remnants, but all the carpet padding kind of came up pretty easily, mostly in one piece. There was a little bit of dust from it where it had disintegrated in spots that had high traffic areas. Just wanted to do one more quick before shot here before we show off the new and improved old floors. And there it is. It's so pretty and it matches the rest of the house. It's It's in fantastic condition. I'm really excited. I think we'll have to figure out what we want to do with the radiator. We're planning to have them removed at some point since they're not operational, but we'll figure out that rotten spot then. But we're so excited about this. So thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you all being here, and I hope this is fun for you guys as much as it is fun for us. We love sharing it with you guys and keep the comments coming. It's been fun to read all your own experiences. I hope you join us next week for our next project. I don't know what we have coming up. It'll be a surprise for all of us. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.